Coming up, a race to rescue a husky badly injured in a fight.
They're bleeding, I know that much.
Dog handlers have got to secure both dogs, and we've got to try and rescue the injured dog.
The horrific case of puppies found buried alive.
Steve, breathe in, Steve. Breathe in, Steve. Quick. We pulled out a puppy. It was squealing and gasping for air.
You're very friendly, aren't you?
And why this little fella is ever so pleased to see Inspector Natalie Bartle.
We don't want kisses like that. Oh.
Every year, the RSPCA's cruelty hotline takes well over 1 million calls. Their inspectors are sent out all across England and Wales and rescue dogs just like Gypsy here. If it wasn't for their hard work, chances are she wouldn't be with us today.
Good afternoon, RSPCA. How can I help?
And it's from the National Control Centre in South Yorkshire that the inspectors are sent cases to investigate all over England and Wales. Inspector Annie Simmons is based in London.
Hello. Oh, you're cute.
She's been with the RSPCA for 10 years, and she's got a one-eyed dachshund called Lofty, who she actually rescued herself. Today, Annie is on her way to an address in North London. A colleague of hers needs help.
She's received a call saying that 3 dogs have been heard fighting. We believe them to be 2 huskies and a bull breed.
When a call comes into the RSPCA, they are prioritised in order of seriousness. This call is an emergency.
Apparently the people haven't been seen for 2 days. They're bleeding, I know that much.
All right, we'll sort it. See you in a bit. When there's more than one dog, pack mentality kind of kicks in. They can cause some real injury to each other and sometimes kill each other.
And it's not just the dogs' lives that are in danger. Every time an inspector goes into a heated situation like this, the risks to them are huge. Things look serious. There's no owner in sight, and it's not just the RSPCA that have been called out.
I'm going to get out and have a chat with the police.
The police have to secure the area before Annie's allowed anywhere near the fighting dogs. Pumped full of adrenaline, they could well turn on the people trying to help.
Stay there, yeah.
Okay, is this about dogs?
Yes.
Okay.
The police think one of the dogs could well be a pit bull, a breed that's outlawed in this country.
We're still trying to secure the pit bull.
With no owner to intervene, the police could be forced to use extreme measures. It could end very badly for the fighting dogs.
Pit bull's got one of the huskies by the throat and has been throwing it around. It's bleeding quite heavily.
Okay.
And we've got a firearms unit in there and dog handlers.
Okay.
Dog handlers are trying to secure the dog safely and humanely, the pit bull initially. But the other added danger we've got is that we're assuming the husky's brother or sister is there as well. So we've got another husky that's unharmed and uninjured.
Right.
So the dog handlers have got to secure both dogs.
Okay.
And we've got to try and rescue the injured dog.
Okay,
So
no
that's
problems.
where we're at the moment.
It's a tense wait until the police have the situation under control. Dogs fight for all sorts of reasons. Sometimes it's to show who is boss, sometimes over food, and sometimes over a bitch in heat. But no matter what the reason, sometimes the results can be fatal. The police have managed to capture what they think is a pit bull. He hasn't come out unscathed.
Do you want us to come in, yeah?
But for the badly injured dog, Oslo, it could already be too late. He's covered in blood, and with such thick fur, it's difficult to tell quite how bad the injuries are.
Do you want me to go and bring the van up here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have to go closer with this.
Oslo is too weak to make it to the cage on his own.
There you go, mate.
He's in shock. This might not sound serious, but sometimes shock can kill. While searching the house, Annie discovers another dog, a female husky. It's possible the two dogs could have been fighting over her. She's unharmed, but she looks very shaken up by the whole experience.
We're going to go to the hospital with the injured one and also with the pit bull because he's got some puncture wounds to his face. Get some pictures and then maybe try and establish what's going on, really. You all right? Yeah.
So with Oslo, the injured dog, loaded up, it's a race against time to get him to hospital.
It's awful. I mean, if you've ever witnessed a dog fight, it's horrible. It's the noise. And I think those, the dog handlers and the police who arrived first on scene felt quite helpless because they were watching it over the fence, and obviously they weren't going to endanger themselves by getting in the garden, so had to do their best whilst waiting for armed officers.
They may have arrived at Harmsworth Animal Hospital in North London, but there's a problem. Oslo, the badly injured husky, has taken a turn for the worse.
It doesn't look very good at all. Annie, I'm going to get a trolley, but it looks really bad.
It looks bad? Yeah. Hello, Angel. The condition seems to have deteriorated since we left. Now kind of lying down. Doesn't look very happy.
Poor Oslo is very badly injured. He may have been rescued, but were the team already too late? His life hangs in the balance. Now there's no time to waste.
His pupils just completely not reacting.
Oslo is really struggling to stay with us.
He's going into shock at the moment, so we need to support his circulation primarily. What?
So the vet has to act quickly.
He needs a high rate of fluids very quickly. He's going into shock at the moment, so his body's circulatory system's starting to shut down.
Oslo is in the best place he could be right now, but at the moment, things are still looking very grave for him.
It's touch and go at the moment. I mean, the fact he's deteriorating is not a good sign. But we'll know more once he's had some fluids for 20 minutes. So yeah, the red top.
As Oslo's life hangs in the balance, Annie and Natalie need to check on his opponent.
He looks like he's in a little bit of shock as well, like this sort of salivating and stuff. He's got a lot of puncture wounds around his jaw and around his ear, and we're just a bit worried that he might have some old puncture wounds, which suggests he's fought or been attacked before.
At the moment, the police think Troy could well be a pit bull breed. Pit bulls are fighting machines, and in the wrong hands can be a deadly weapon. In England, it's illegal to own, sell, give away or breed from a pit bull terrier. The team at Harmsworth Animal Hospital will make sure Troy's well looked after. But sadly for him, if the police confirm that he's a dangerous dog, he could well be put to sleep.
The suspected pit bull type dog has been taken into police kennels, so they will then get it examined by a DLO, which is a police officer who kind of has knowledge about identifying bull breeds as to whether they're pit bulls or not.
So for now, Troy's future is looking uncertain. But how is Oslo doing?
Basically what happens when they go into shock like this is that their circulation starts to shut down, and so they can suffer problems with organ damage due to not enough blood flow. There's different types of shock in dogs, but the main one that we're worried about in this guy is whether he's losing any blood anywhere. So we're just going to scan his abdomen now just to make sure there's no blood loss there.
Oslo still isn't perking up. This could be a sign that his injuries aren't just skin deep. Using ultrasound, David is able to see if there is any sign of internal bleeding.
The problem is with dogs like this is they have quite thick fur, so there can be little cuts and all over the place which you can't see.
Things already look bleak for Oslo. More injuries could spell tragedy.
It is quite early on, so sometimes if they're very small pockets, then it wouldn't necessarily show at this stage, but just making sure there's no catastrophic bleeds. What we'll also do is a quick x-ray of the chest as well.
Until Oslo shows any signs of improvement, he will have to be monitored constantly. It could still go downhill very quickly. We'll be back with him later as he continues to fight for his life. Rescue dogs make fantastic companions, but it's not just being best friends that they're great at. Is it, Maggie?
Maggie, come on.
Maggie's a Shih Tzu, was rescued from a puppy farm by RSPCA veterinary nurse Tony Gregory.
Good girl. Come on. Come on.
Now she's a happy, healthy dog, but 8 years ago it was a very different story.
I basically chose to adopt her because I was worried about her future. I've always took in the waifs and strays, the ones that nobody wanted, and I kind of made it my mission that I had to get her better, really.
Maggie had a long list of health problems, including major issues with her breathing.
She sounded a lot like Darth Vader, really, and was just generally struggling to breathe and really dull and lethargic because of it.
Maggie, come on. Come on, sweetheart. There's a good girl.
Without the RSPCA's help, Maggie never would have made it. So now she's returning the favour by coming to the rescue of others. She volunteers with Pets as Therapy, a charity that uses animals to help enrich people's lives.
It's designed for people that don't have access to pets, so volunteers go to different centres, for example, old people's homes, schools, so that the people can socialise with the animals.
Twice a week, Maggie dons her trendy bib and visits children at the Earls High School in Halesowen.
All right.
We all know dogs have incredible hearing, but it's actually Maggie's avid listening skills these kids are after.
Hello, Maggie. We're reading Death at Noon.
Ooh, sounds scary.
Something was hiding in the scramble. She could see its smooth green skin circling in a sand dune.
You might wonder what's going on, but teacher Helen Nicholson believes that this novel approach can help reluctant young readers learn to embrace literature.
The Reading to Dog scheme started in America, and I saw the information on the website and thought it'd be good for our school to have a reading dog.
They bit into it and chewed slowly.
Tests have shown that reading to dogs can help kids relax. They know the dog won't laugh, judge or criticise their ability to read, unlike their peers. So as a result, they feel less self-conscious. And reading becomes a pleasure, not a chore. And the results speak for themselves.
Thank you for listening.
That's all right.
Something less scary next time, please.
It helps with my confidence, reading to the dog, and I've moved up 9 levels in my reading.
What are we reading?
Because Maggie received so much care when she was younger, she's very well socialised, which means she's particularly relaxed in this environment. But it's not for all dogs.
I've tried reading to my dog, Ben, but he doesn't read. He doesn't listen. He just runs off. But Maggie listens. Like, Maggie sits there and listens.
Well, that's because I'm a little more highbrow than most other dogs.
We've picked quiet students, reluctant readers, and now they're eager to come every single week to read with Maggie, and their reading has improved dramatically.
Beginning of this, I didn't like reading like normal, but now because I'm reading with Maggie, it's helping with my reading a lot.
And Maggie likes to leave her seal of approval.
We've just got a stamp with Maggie's paw print on so that the boys can stamp it in the reading books to see where they've got to.
But all this strain on Maggie's brain does take its toll. Hey, sleepy. Nothing a little treat won't sort out. And some play to get the blood pumping again.
There you go, yeah, good girl.
So with today's lesson over, it looks like it's top marks for Maggie. She's definitely teacher's favourite pet. Right, let's give this a whirl then. Got a really good one here, Maggie. Ramsey Street was named after a family who were in a long-running feud with the... Where do you think you're going? I haven't started. Earlier on, Oslo the husky was clinging on for his life after fighting with another dog.
His pupils just completely not reacting.
The damage was so severe, his future was uncertain.
It's touch and go at the moment. I mean, the fact he's deteriorating is not a good sign.
And half an hour later, his condition is still critical. Vet David Mills has already used ultrasound to see if he has any internal injuries. Now he needs to give Oslo an X-ray.
Seeing here is the dog's head is up at this end, and then the heart is in the middle. We're looking at the lungs around here, which look normal at this stage. With the way that we've taken the X-ray, we also get a shot of the abdomen as well, and so we can see that there's no fluid collected in the abdomen either, which we saw on the ultrasound anyway. But it's nice just to have confirmation as well in the X-ray. Because the dog's only been here for sort of half an hour, so things can develop and these situations can change quickly. So we may need a repeat X-ray later on if things don't settle down as we'd like.
For now, Oslo is stable, but at any moment he could take a turn for the worse.
Whilst he's nice and settled, and we're happy that he's got fluids and he's got some morphine in his system, so he's quite sleepy now. We're just doing a secondary assessment now of his wounds.
But his injuries are extensive and severe, and with vital organs just centimetres beneath the surface of the skin, bites can sometimes kill.
The main pad on his back right leg has become detached. I think it's been bitten through, so he's sustained quite a lot of damage to that, which we'll probably need to take it off, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. But it's very sore. The pads are very sensitive in dogs, so it'll be very stingy indeed to have that.
And the other dog has managed to bite right into the front of his paw too. Whilst David looks at each injury, the evidence is documented. So if it's found the owners are at fault, they can be prosecuted.
Can you just put photo 1 right hind, otherwise I'm going to get my legs mixed up when we do these.
Left hind.
It's me eye, David.
These wounds will take a long time to heal, but David is doing everything he can to make Oslo as comfortable as possible. For the past 2 hours, he's been working tirelessly to save Oslo's life. But it's been worth it.
He's on some pain relief within his drip bag now, which will keep him comfortable overnight. And the outlook looks good for him. Mostly it looks like puncture wounds. A couple of deep wounds on his back feet, which are soft tissue wounds, so they should heal fine. And the plan for him would be to keep him stable overnight and then sedate him tomorrow to flush out his wounds and assess the damage. But if that's all he's left with after that sort of attack, then he's done very, very well.
So whilst Oslo is left to recover from his ordeal, now the team need to investigate why the owner left 3 dogs alone to fight in the first place.
What we're looking at is whether he took reasonable steps to protect those animals from pain, injury, just because at the end of the day something serious has happened, a dog could have died. We're just lucky that the police responded when they did. Everyone worked really well together and acted quickly, so I think any longer it could have been a very different story, really.
We'll be checking in on Oslo's progress later in the show. Sadly, the RSPCA has to rescue dogs from unimaginable cruelty on a daily basis. It still amazes me that people are capable of such horrific abuse to animals that only want to be loved. But thankfully, there's an army of people out there to stand up for dogs. The story you are about to see is particularly disturbing. You may find some of the images distressing. In July 2012, Deputy Chief Inspector Jane Bashford was called out to an address in Tamworth in Staffordshire. It was to become a day she would never forget.
Right up until the morning that we executed the warrant and went to the property, it was kind of a job like any other, really. We expected to find puppies in poor condition, but nothing could have quite prepared us for what actually happened that day.
The room is very cramped, and on the floor we have puppies, young puppies.
The conditions inside the house were disgraceful. The dogs were living in squalor, surrounded by filth. But when Jane went into the back garden, things got worse.
So you've got several dogs housed in rabbit hutches in the back garden, all crammed in together. A rabbit hutch that had got an adult Staffordshire Bull Terrier female with her puppies. It was vile.
As the vet began to examine the dogs and puppies, he could immediately see that they had been suffering unnecessarily.
She does have mammary swellings here. She's also got evidence of an old oral haematoma in the left ear. You can see the way it's all sort of shriveled up.
But the team hadn't even scratched the surface. What they were about to uncover was truly shocking.
There was a small child at the address, and they were talking with a police officer, and as the vet took the temperature of one of the dogs, the child said, "It's a shame the man couldn't have helped the other puppies. They died this morning." So obviously at that point your ears prick up and you think, okay, where are these puppies? And the child indicated that they were in the sand at the top of the garden.
The team made their way to the back of the garden to investigate.
There looks to have been a dog kept here at some point.
18.
Steve! Breathe it, Steve! Breathe it, Steve! Quick! The police officers started to move the soil away, and just unbelievably, really, there were these... We pulled out a puppy.
We've got... The police officer has just uncovered
a puppy that's been buried in the garden.
It's been buried alive. It's still alive.
It was squealing and gasping for air.
Can we start exhuming this patch of soil?
It was horrible, and as the police dug a little deeper, lo and behold, there was a second puppy.
The police officer has just uncovered another puppy.
They were poorly puppies, and these people had buried them alive in their back garden.
The puppies had been pulled from a shallow grave. But tragically, the team had no choice but to put them to sleep.
How can you do that? How can you possibly even think that that could ever be an acceptable thing to do? There was nothing that could be done for those dogs.
The three owners pleaded guilty and were given the maximum sentence of 6 months imprisonment and banned from keeping animals for life. That day, 9 dogs and 15 puppies were rescued, leaving behind a horrendous life. Some of them were trapped in cages for up to 23 hours a day. Now, thankfully, for those rescued dogs, that life is all a distant memory.
Come on, Bing. Come on. Go.
Bing was one of the lucky dogs to be rescued. Now he lives with his new owner, Helen Ward.
Back here. Bing.
He was the last dog that I went to go and see out of all of them in the kennels. I don't know what it was. His little face just looked like he needed a really good home, and I asked to see him. They told me his name was Bing, and me and my little girl, we just fell in love with him, really.
This fella is enjoying his new life, and Helen and her family wouldn't be without him.
He's just happy to be loved, really. He can have as many cuddles as he possibly can get out of the day, and that makes him happy.
Happy and cosy. In fact, sometimes a little bit too cosy.
He's a bit naughty, actually, because he doesn't go on the sofa normally, but whenever I go to bed, he clearly jumps up onto my sofa and spends the evening on the cushions. Good boy. I'm glad I found him. Look at him with his foot up.
It's been almost 2 years since Jane came to Bing's rescue, and today, on a break from the day job, she's catching up with him and his new owner.
Hiya.
Hiya. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
at
you
last.
too.
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, it's lovely to see you.
It is you too. And this must be little Bing.
Bing, yeah. I know. I bet he's a lot different from what you remember.
I can't believe the difference. It's quite incredible, actually, because you were only a baby when I first saw you. How is he?
He's amazing.
Is he?
He's a lovely, lovely little dog, yeah. Fantastic with the family. He's just lovely.
Oh, go. Ooh. Ready? Ready? This way? Ready? Well, the last time I saw him, he was in a rabbit hutch. I can't believe the change in him. It's absolutely brilliant. It's just lovely it's nice to have the opportunity to actually meet up again with the animal a couple of years later, because that gives them time for the full personality and spirit to come through. And wow, what a beautiful little dog he is, and what a great life he's got. That's just exactly what I wanted for all of these dogs in this case, was to find owners like Helen.
Dogs dote on their owners, only ever showing their love and admiration for them. They are wonderful creatures, bringing happiness and joy to their best friends. So you may wonder why such adorable animals could ever be given the boot. Well, sadly, it happens way too much. Last year, over 100,000 were left to fend for themselves. And dealing with abandoned dogs is a constant problem for London-based inspector Natalie Bartle. She's been with the RSPCA for over 20 years, and she's the proud owner of not one, but 2 Blue Peter badges. Today, she's on her way to Paddington in London. A call has come in about a young puppy that's been left in a cardboard box.
What would have been better is really for these people to have contacted the RSPCA call centre for help. There's lots of local branches, there's other welfare charities that could have assisted with this. But still, these people have chose, for whatever reason, to leave the puppy in a box. Hiya.
And it looks like someone's already found the abandoned pup.
All right, you can put him down for me. You're very friendly, aren't you? You've got a lovely coat. Yeah, he's a little bit thin. Probably... All right, let's have a little look. Would say...
If this happy little bull mastiff cross has a microchip, it could help Natalie identify the owner.
He's too excited. No. Was it tied up or...?
It was actually in a box.
OK, so he was found over there by the bins.
So for now, it looks like the trail's running cold. And whilst Natalie is trying to find out what she can, this little pooch is trying it on.
Stop it. He loves me too much. We don't like that behaviour, young man.
He might have been left out in the cold, but Mr. Lover certainly has hot blood pumping through his veins.
He's a young male. He can probably smell the scent of other dogs on me. And he's making a move on me, really. Aren't you? It's not going to happen.
Oh, come on, just one kiss.
Oh!
That new perfume you're wearing? This little Casanova is more than happy to be in his rescuer's arms.
We don't want kisses like that.
Yeah, we do. Just admit, you can't resist me.
You're a good boy. Ah, you're a wiggler. Right.
Before this cheeky chappie can be rehomed, the RSPCA has to give the owner 7 days to reclaim him.
It could be the puppy's been stolen and somebody else has taken the puppy and left the puppy without the owner's knowledge. So we'll find somewhere suitable just to put that. All right. There we go. All right. Now he's in a nice warm van and we're going to take him up to the hospital. Right.
The RSPCA's Harmsworth Hospital in North London is one of their biggest. They see thousands of dogs here every year.
Come on in.
On the surface, this fella seems in good shape, but just in case, vet David Mills is on hand again to give him the once-over. It's not just the badly injured ones he sees.
Look at you. Did you notice anything wrong with him since you picked him up?
No, nothing other than he's very amorous.
You can say that again. Just can't keep his paws off Natalie.
That's fine. That's all fine. He's a little bit thin. His ribs are very easy to count, and he's also got a very prominent backbone here. But apart from that, everything's looking pretty good. If his age is right at about 6 months, maybe reach sort of sexual maturity. It's like a teenage boy at this age, trying to hump most things that move.
Just trying to think of a suitable name.
Casanova.
Yeah, we said Casanova, didn't we? Or Romeo, which is a bit... Romeo? Let's go Romeo then. He's been quite amorous with me this afternoon, so I think the name suits, really.
Well, it looks like he's most definitely found his Juliet.
Hey. Yes. Oh.
They do say that persistence pays off.
Oh, yeah.
Romeo's owner has 7 days to collect him. Otherwise, he'll be put up for adoption.
Come on, Romeo.
But Natalie is confident he won't be homeless for long.
Good boy. Romeo's going to find a home very easily. He's a beautiful dog, very friendly, a lot to give somebody. He's very loving, our Romeo, aren't you? He's a very sweet dog. Gives lots of good kisses.
Well, you asked for it.
You are a little monkey.
Paw? We get paw.
But Romeo's love knows no bounds. Since we last saw him, he's been busy working his magic on the ladies over at South Ridge Animal Centre in Hertfordshire, where he's been staying.
He's really popular with all the staff. Everyone goes in and gives him cuddles.
Looks like you've fallen under his spell too.
And all the dog walkers and volunteers love spending time with him. He's been a pleasure. He's been really good here. No trouble at all.
Romeo.
But today they will have to say so long to this heartthrob, as he's found another. Owner, that is.
It's sad to see the puppies go, but it's also nice because they're obviously going off to their new homes in a nice new life. But we do fall in love with all the puppies. They're so sweet and cuddly, so you can't not fall in love with him.
John Murphy has decided to take Romeo on. And it's not the first time he's been here.
Hello.
8 years ago, he adopted Paddy, a one-eyed bulldog. But sadly, Paddy is no longer. So after all the relevant checks and home visit, John has been approved to adopt Romeo.
And that is it. That is it. I have completed it now, so that's yours.
Thank you.
And Romeo can't wait. Looks like he likes boys too.
That one. There you go.
Thank you very much.
That's okay.
Thank you.
For John, picking out Romeo is an easy decision.
Come on. That's the way he looks at us, straight away. Jumped up at the cage, and that was it. I knew straight away he was the one for me. This way. This way.
Today is an exciting day for Romeo as he arrives at his new home. And this country retreat is a far cry from the inner city cardboard box he was found in.
Come on.
Home sweet home.
Good boy.
Looks like an ideal bachelor pad for him. Right, time to get settled in.
Not in the toilet.
I think he's looking for the jacuzzi.
No, he's just doing his own thing. Let him settle.
Oh, that's better.
Come on.
With a garden all to himself and plenty of room for him to entertain the ladies, this place is perfect.
This is the woods behind. He can have a run out there. Got a back gate access to it, to the woods. So he can run out and then straight over there. You've got the fields. He will be spoilt, definitely. You have a life of Riley, won't you, son? Yes. I've got my work cut out, I think. But I've got plenty of time to do it.
So it looks like Romeo will settle in no time. He'll soon have his paws firmly under the table. He's already got them on the couch.
He's come home now, shall we say. That's, won't you? Yeah, he's for keeps.
But is John going to keep his name?
Definitely not Romeo, no. I can't go around the village shouting Romeo.
If you want to give a dog a new home, you can. Find out how at the end of the show. When we last saw Oslo the husky, he was in very bad shape after he'd been fighting with another dog.
His circulatory system started to shut down.
Well, we've got some great news. Oslo has made a fantastic recovery. It's been just over 4 weeks since his ordeal, and Annie Simmons is paying him a visit to find out how he's been getting on.
Sit. Sit. Paw.
This husky has certainly bounced back, but Annie will never forget the day she found him.
Good boy. When we came across Oslo in the back garden, he was responsive, but he was covered in blood. But obviously, you can see he's got a very thick coat. We couldn't quite see where the blood was coming from. By the time we got to the hospital, though, his condition had deteriorated quite a lot. It was a bit touch and go. Had he not received the treatment that he'd received at that point, you know, he may not have be here today.
He also sustained some nasty injuries, but it looks like they're healing well.
He had a puncture wound to his neck. Obviously it was shaved in order for him to clean it, but the hair's now growing back nicely.
But it was perhaps his paws that suffered the most damage. The pads on one of his rear paws were almost ripped clean off. But even that's healing up nicely.
Just here. Apart from the shaved bits, you can't really see where his injuries were. If you didn't know he'd been through that, then you wouldn't know he'd been in that kind of fight, and that his life was basically hanging in the balance at one point.
And today, Annie's just happy to see him back in one piece.
Looking at him now, I can't believe he's the same dog. He's full of beans. Come on in. Interested in everything. Sit. Looks like he's made a full recovery, which is good.
Oslo will stay at the kennels until the RSPCA work out if anyone is to blame for the dog's fighting. Hopefully, he'll be up for rehoming soon.
Okay, come on.
Avid listener Maggie, that special Shih Tzu, is still helping kids with their reading and improving grades across the board. She loves nothing better than putting her paws up and getting her chops around a good thriller.